Welcome to another weekly market update. This is where we look at what's going on in the stock market for long-term trend and short-term trend because it affects everybody. I will start actually by an email that I received in the week from somebody who clearly got the link to this weekly thing I do, and they said, please unsubscribe me. I don't want anything to do with the stock market. So I politely replied, well, if you have a pension plan, actually, yes, you do. I just don't think people understand that, if you've got any kind of investment plan at all, it affects everything. It affects the housing markets, the economy. When the stock market crashes, everything else is going to follow. If you're not interested in the stock market, you're a fool, or you just don't like money. Because you're not just a fool, you're a sitting duck. Because if your pension fund, something we can look at in just a second, is tied up in the stock market, and most of them are, then you're the patsy, because the insiders right now appear to be, secretly sort of getting out a little bit, at least in the short term. But more than that, when the next bear market comes, you'll really be the patsy. You're going to be the ones that are sitting there with all that money tied up in the pension. It's going to get cut in half again, at least, just like in 2008. So it's pure nonsense to say, I'm not interested in the stock market. Yes, you are, or you just don't like money. So let's look at what's going on in the big picture then, which is that thing I'm talking about. Is it a bull market? It's a bear market? Well, I've been saying since last November it's a bull market, and I was right to say so. But all bull markets have healthy downwards corrections in their upwards trends, and we haven't had one for a very long time. And I've been going on recently, and you would hear my voice, the volume in my voice increasing more and more as we got into last week, and looks like that was justified, because you see here we've got this blue line I've drawn here. First of all, these little vertical lines here, this is just the week-to-week action of the S&P 500, which is the main stock market over 15, 16, 2017. And these blue line, the red line here, just an average of the price, sort of smooth things out. There's the 40-week and the 70-week. So we draw this line here, we can see it's been bouncing up this trend, but just this last week it dropped below that, so which could mean that this correction is finally underway. If we zoom in a little bit, we can see that here on the daily chart here. You can really see that upwards trend there, with as many touches as possible in the spirit of things. And I did say that last Sunday, I said this was an inflection point, because it's right on the line, and I didn't really care for the action. I didn't hold much hope for it. So the stock market thought, no, we're not going to make it that easy, and it just bounced up a little bit right off of that line. And it was on the line, to be fair. I hadn't broken it, as I did say. But then just straight away on Thursday, just closed right below it, the bottom of its daily range there, and went even further down on Friday. So that constitutes, anything can happen, but that constitutes a break in the channel, and it should mean that finally we get a correction, which is something I've been noticing in the last few weeks now. I've noticed that a lot of profit taking's going on. Insiders are sort of quickly sort of pulling out their money because they can see this correction is finally going to come. We might see a little jump up in the week as it pulls back to hit that channel, but if it does that and then turns back round again, then that just confirms it. But so what we're looking to see now is what happens next. Okay, I think the upwards trend has been broken. What happens next is we want to see a healthy coming down to somewhere like here on the 200-day here, around that area around here. If it can sort of hold and bounce somewhere in this area, that will be the healthy thing we're looking for. If it gets below the 200-day, then there might be something else. The big picture trend, it's still a bull market, but what it appears to be now, I think I can finally say after months of waiting that I think the short-term trend, actually, you can see it here in the RSI too, is down. So this is a time for if we're on a bull market, great, but this is a time where I'm going to be looking at taking profits off the table, as I have been doing for the last 2 weeks anyway, and also not opening any brand new up trades. If I was going to do any trading at all right now, either wouldn't be anything to do with the stock market, it might be currencies or something like that, or it's going to be to short anything that's looking vulnerable right now. So for once I can say the long-term trend is up, but the short-term trend is down. So I will speak to you next week.